Every once in a while the stars line up to allow for an absolutely ridiculous build which should have no right existing, and this is absolutely one of those times. If you've ever played Pharah in Overwatch, it's kind of like that. Only a few things are critical, but there's a lot you can mess around with to tailor your preferences. You will need a rocket with Danger Zone, the artifact perk Perpetual Destruction. Blastwave Striders are highly recommended, but you could get away without these, and a Lephanim if you're using Blastwaves too. Perpetual Destruction allows you to use a rocket launcher like a primary weapon, as long as you're getting multi-kills with them, which is of course very easy. But you need the right rocket, or more accurately the right reserves to do this. If you have 10 or below max reserves, one rocket will be refunded per 4 kills. If you have 11 or more reserves, 2 ammo will be refunded per 4 kills. You 100% want 11 or above ammo. Some can do this easier than others. High impact and precision frames start with 9 ammo, while adaptives and aggressives start with 7. So the prior 2 options are much easier to work with. Reserves can be boosted in a few ways. Reserve mods are the easiest. One reserve mod will allow for high impact or precisions to be at 11, while adaptives or aggressives require all 3 mods. There's also certain perks which act as copies of reserve mods. Note that it is still capped at 3. Enhanced Envious Arsenal will act as 1 copy, Base Field Prep will act as 1 copy, while Enhanced will act as 2. Don't use Bipod either. It seems like the kind of obvious solution, but nukes both blast radius and damage, the 2 things we want to secure multi-kills. So my recommendations are the following. Semi-Attition with Field Prep and Danger Zone. It's strand, craftable, and requires no reserve mods to function. Tomorrow's Answer. It has Danger Zone in column 3 this time, so you can use a damage perk like Bait and Switch. It's Void 2, so works with volatile and weaker mods. The downside is it's from Trials. Cyanosia. It is one of the 3 reserve mod required categories, but it's a great strand rocket with a lot of good perk options. I'd go with Danger Zone and Explosive Light. 2 rocket refunds is critical. It allows you to actually go positive on ammo if you're securing multi-kills with each shot. But more often than not, it allows you to at least maintain by using a rocket to defeat a few ads, then a follow-up shot to defeat a few others. If you want to see more builds like this, be sure to subscribe and also join my Discord. I'll post all sort of obscure interactions there too. Now the base knowledge is out of the way, here's how you play this absolute unit of a build. The playstyle is different from anything else in the game. Weirdly, treat your rocket as if it's a shotgun. Get into a group of ads and fire. You can fire straight at the floor. You will be propelled back, kind of like a mountaintop shot, but because of Danger Zone, while surrounded by 3 or more enemies, you will take no self damage from this. One of the main reasons I suggest blast waves, outside of more synergy I'll cover next, is they're also a layer of insurance. If you misjudge the amount of enemies nearby and rocket the floor, normally you will just kind of explode. But with blast waves, the self damage is heavily reduced. It's still present, so don't just keep firing rockets at the ground with no enemies nearby. Don't know why you would do this, but still. The damage you take is around 50% of your shields, but is reduced even more with effects such as Woven Mail. Blastwave's main effect is to spawn a lot of stasis crystals, upon filling their progress bar via enemy defeats, and are deployed by either sliding or self-damage. The tiny amount of damage you take with Danger Zone active will still spawn these crystals. Another thing is, when spawned you will also be granted 5 stacks of frost armor for 9 seconds, which is 31% damage resist. Really comes in clutch. Also, a Lephanim can choose the progress of blast waves by collecting vestiges. Each vestige is 10% progress. 3 shots into a boss target will generate enough of these for a full blast. These vestiges can also be converted into heavy ammo should you actually ever run out of rockets. You see, it's all coming together now. The rest of the build, quite customizable. It will work on any Titan subclass. But I went with Strand because the survivability and aggression it offers matches what I wanted the best. Woven Mail uptime is plentiful with a combination of Into the Fray, Thread of Warning and to Shreds. Banner of War is a passive healing over time with no maintenance outside of a single melee kill, and also this Sever, which is like damage resist adjacent by making enemies deal less. But if you want to use this on Prismatic or even Arc, it will work fine. The other damage resist source you must use is Heavy Ordnance Regeneration. 2 hits of a rocket, impact and explosion will fulfill this, will grant resist times 2, which is a 25% damage resist for 15 seconds. This stacks with everything previously listed. It also grants 85% grenade and melee regen for 10 seconds. Really great for Strand again, as both Grapple and Frenzied Blade hit hard. In enemy dense situations, you can just keep blasting yourself between groups of ads. Use grapples and melees to adjust yourself mid-flight if needed. Also, Thread of Ascent will reload your rocket on grapple. In an activity like Court of Blades or Onslaught, this is ridiculous and incredibly fun. It does hold up at harder difficulties too. In these activities such as gems, this is where the damage resistance stacking really comes into play. Against champs and bosses, there's a few tricks you can do too. 3 Alephanum shots charge the blast waves and allows you to generate heavy ammo, so weaving this in as much as possible is great. Slide directly into an enemy so that the stasis crystals do not fan too far. You can also just dump rockets. If you have tomorrow's answer with bait and switch, even better. Just keep a few of reserves around and you can use those to build up ammo again. Blade Fury is great too. Since we're already using to shreds, you can make use of its boost, which makes all abilities, including supers, do 25% more damage to severed enemies, which Blade Fury itself does 7. Armor mods, the only thing I will specifically cover is using a scav mod which matches your rocket. This won't do anything for perpetual destruction, but it allows for Alephanum or Finder Brick to provide 2 rockets instead of 1, so it's absolutely worth having. Reserves are important, but don't overdo it. If you're using an aggressive frame, especially with field prep, you won't benefit at all from using more than 1 reserve mod. The special slot is open. Lotus Eater is essential if you're in an activity with barrier champions, but on top of this can provide void overshields too if you're using a repulsor brace roll. This is my number 1 pick. Glaives are great too. Banner of War is already boosting their damage, and we can get you out of sticky situations with the shield. The energy slot ones in my opinion are a little worse than the kinetic ones, but either forthcoming Deviants or Greasy look are great options. Velocity Baton is my final suggestion here. Run better already boot mods and collect the orbs this weapon provides for healing on the go. And that's really all there is to it. I think the gameplay speaks for itself more than my commentary, and milking this video up to 8 minutes is just kinda cringe, so goodbye.